Hey guys, so this time I just wanted to talk about racials, which racials are gonna be the best for PvP arena. So let's start with the Alliance first, and I'm not gonna talk about racials like +10 frost resistance, but just the ones that really matter. So as Alliance we have humans first. Humans have Perception, which is a 3-minute cooldown ability with a 20-second duration, and it greatly improves stealth detection. The sole purpose of this ability is to find rogues in the opener. So it's only really useful if you're playing human rogue yourself, as they don't know you're human because you're stealthed obviously, and you might catch them off guard. Even then, I feel like Alliance has better options, so I will not really recommend human. But let's also talk about Priest. So Priest is the only class that has 2 different abilities depending on the race that you choose. As a human, you get Desperate Prayer, which is an instant heal that heals for quite a lot, has a long cooldown, but it's very good for emergency situations. And you also get Feedback, which is a mini mana burn ability, but it's really bad. So I would say human is just not your choice if you're playing Priest or any other class aside from maybe Rogue. Now next up we have Dwarves, and Dwarves are just really good. And the reason being is the racial called Stoneform. Stoneform is a 3-minute cooldown ability, which is gonna remove all poisons, bleed and disease effects. And it's also gonna give you 10% more armor, but we don't really care about that. All we care about is removing poisons. It allows you to get rid of wound poison stacks from the rogue, which is their healing effect reduction. You can get rid of crippling poison, meaning you can run away. And you can also get rid of Viper Stings. So it's a very solid ability, and it's also really strong on Dwarf Priests. Now Dwarf Priests, they get Desperate Prayer, which is the instant heal, and comboed with Stoneform allows you to basically go back to full HP if you're facing a rogue. Now Dwarf Priests also get Chastise, which is a 2-second root, and it's very good if, for example, you're chasing a healer, you want to fear them, you can just root them with Chastise and then you can catch up to them. And it's also obviously very good for kiting. So in the end, I will recommend choosing Dwarf if you're planning to play Alliance Hunter, Priest or Paladin. Now let's take a look at Night Elves. Night Elves have Shadow Melt, which is an ability that's gonna give you stealth. You can only use it out of combat, and it's gonna break if you move or cast a spell. Now the real strength of Shadow Melt is that you can start drinking and then Shadow Melt, which means you can drink the full mana while not being seen. It's extremely strong on druids, as druids can leave some healing over time effects on their partner, run away in travel form and drink the full mana. Now what do Night Elf Priests get? They get Star Shards, which is an instant cast dot and it costs no mana, lasts for 15 seconds and has a cooldown of 30, so it has a pretty big uptime. It scales with spell damage as it deals arcane damage every 3 seconds, and it can tick for like 200 and more, and this ability is actually pretty good as Priest is already a very offensive class. Second ability is the Loon's Grace, which is a 3-minute cooldown ability. It lasts for 15 seconds and reduces the chance you'll be hit by melee and ranged attacks by 20%. It's a good ability, but the problem is that it's a magic buff, so you can get purged or dispelled. I would say you will only play Night Elf, obviously if you're playing Druid, as it's your only choice. And I can see Priest being a solid choice as well, even though I still think it's still inferior to Dwarf Priest. I feel like there are situations where the extra pressure from Star Shards and the ability to drink while Shadow Melded could make a difference in a match. Next up we have Gnomes. Gnomes have Escape Artist, which is basically a 2-minute cooldown ability, instant cast, and it's gonna remove every slow and root effect that you have on you. It's insanely good for melee classes, as you can get rid of the Frost Mage Nova, meaning they just wasted their 20-second cooldown ability. You can get rid of Druid Roots, which are gonna be very popular, and it basically makes your life much easier. They're also pretty good for casters, as mages don't always want to blink out of their roots, they want to save their blink for stuns, and warlocks have no mobility. So basically, if you're playing Alliance, if your class can play Gnome, you should play Gnome. As a final race, we have Draenei, and Draenei guys are just a big meme. I will not recommend going Draenei unless obviously you're going to play Alliance Shaman, then it's your only choice. But let's see what they have. They have Gift of the Naru, which is a 3-minute cooldown ability with a 1.5 second cast. Without spell power, it's gonna heal for around 200 every 3 seconds, and it doesn't even scale that well. It's also a magic buff, so it can just get purged. And if you're playing a melee Draenei, you're gonna provide 1% hit rating to your party, and if you're playing a caster, you're gonna provide 1% spell hit rating to your party. But then again, it's not even comparable to what the other races have to offer. Then we have Draenei Priests, their first ability being Symbol of Hope, At level 70 with scaling, it's gonna restore 1000 mana in 15 seconds. The problem is that it's a magic buff and it also has a 5-minute cooldown, making this ability extremely bad. Their second ability is Chastise, as we said before, the 30-second cooldown route, but it's literally the only good thing they have. So I will definitely recommend not playing Draenei unless you're playing an Alliance Shaman. That was my take on Alliance racials. I don't think they're that inferior to Horde as much as people believe, but yeah, Horde racials are definitely very strong as well, and we're gonna take a look at them in the next video. Thanks for watching.